Hello and welcome to Chargers Talk 4630. I'm your host, Stacey Mallory. Thanks to all of you who take a little time out of your schedule to tune in. And before we get into it, if I could remind you to go on to YouTube, go to the search engine and type in three separate words, Chargers Talk 4630. Press the like button, give a thumbs up, hit the notification button on the right. And as always, it doesn't cost you one penny to subscribe. This way, you'll never miss a show or podcast. And also your device, whether it's a tablet, phone, or computer, it will send you a notification as a reminder that either we are live on the air or we've just released the latest content. And also, you don't have to just be a Chargers fan because everyone who listens and supports us is always welcome here. And for those who may be here for the first time, I say welcome. So let's get right into this here. For people who here for the first time that may not know me, again, my name is Stacey Mallory. I've been a Chargers fan for 46 years, since 1978. My kids, I have 6 kids. Only one of them, my youngest son, is 23 years old. He's a Chargers fan. My other kids are 49er fan, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Giants, and Atlanta Falcons. I've been attached to this team for years. And everybody who had been coming on, watching the podcast that I have, they've been seeing, especially over this last year, how frustrated I was with Tom Telesco and Brandon Staley. I mean, it became a weekly thing calling for their jobs because I no longer had any faith or confidence in Tom Telesco, definitely none in Brandon Staley, and we definitely needed a change. I mean, Tom Telesco left this team a mess at the end of the season. Well, 5 games left. They did fire him. I was happy about that. I'm sure all of us was happy about that. So the Chargers have hired Jim Harbaugh as the head coach and Joe Ortiz to take over the general manager duties. It was time for a change. Now, at that time that it happened, everybody was ecstatic. I seen on certain podcasts that people were crying, some of the hosts, out of joy that we finally have football people upstairs that know what they're doing, that have a track record of winning, and not just winning championships, and not just winning championships, but sustaining years of winning more than losing. And that's something that the Chargers haven't been used to. So I goes to bed the other night, and maybe I went to bed 9:30, 10 o'clock. I get up in the morning at 5 o'clock to use the restroom, go brush my teeth and all that kind of stuff so I can get up and make me some coffee. And I saw a text from my son. Before I get into that, let me just really say this briefly. What I'm about to say is all factual. And also, sometimes, no matter old or young, with some Charger fans, it's tough with dealing with the truth. We are all Charger fans. If you wear that powder blue, we all are family. So don't be such in a haste to cut me off and not hear everything out in its totality if you don't like something that I say and you ready to tune me out. But hear me out. I've been around long enough. I've seen enough for 46 years as a fan. So let me just break it down, explain my version, because I have a lot of people that hit me in my DMs and ask me, how do you feel about this? And when I told them how I felt about it, if they didn't like the response, they say, well, how could you really be a Charger fan if you're not angry? So let me explain it, because it's been going on for a couple of days and I don't want to just keep on. I've been going back and forth on X, and I'm trying to be, not just trying to be, I am as respectful as I possibly can to people that are reaching out to me. Your opinion matters. You have a right to say how you feel. You have a right to feel how you do. You have a right to be angry. You have a right to be frustrated. I don't want to diminish any of that at all. We're just trying to have a conversation that's kind of tough right now with what happened as Charger fans. So hear me out. Let's have this conversation. And I think that we could start moving forward in a positive way and not just get stuck in the mud with this and still feeling bitter and angry. But let me drop some knowledge on you really quick. But before I do that, let me just say, I told you when I got up, brushed my teeth, washed my face, go downstairs to make some coffee, I saw a text from my son at about 11 o'clock and said, "Dad, how do you feel about what just happened?" I'm like, what is he talking about? So I figure something must have happened because we're in the middle of free agency, and it probably have something to do with the Chargers. So I went on X, and when I went on X, Lord have mercy, it was like a volcano erupted. When I went on X, everybody was going at it. I mean, it was such venom. It was all from Charger fans. And what I did at first, when I saw that Keenan Allen was traded, I didn't know all what happened, but I knew the team was facing some serious challenges with the salary cap. I knew you had 4 people making over 30-something million dollars. Tom Telesco left this team a mess. And Joe Ortiz and Harbaugh, before they can start building this team, they got to clean up some of the mess, because you couldn't do anything until you could get under the salary cap. So we all knew, all Charger fans knew, going into this offseason, some tough decisions was going to have to be made, and some people probably would get cut that are popular among Charger fans that we don't want to see cut. But we had to embrace ourselves because we knew it was coming. Now, I would say this, the least of our worries, at least for me, I didn't think it would be Keenan Allen would be one. I did think he would have to restructure his contract, but I didn't think he would not be a Charger. Keenan Allen is one of the most popular, if not the best wide receiver in Charger histories. And Lord knows we've had some great wide receivers in Charlie Joyner, Wes Chandler, John Jefferson, Anthony Miller. Keenan Allen was really that dude. Let me just speak on Keenan Allen for a minute. The reason why, with all the great receivers we've had, and I rank Keenan at the top, Keenan didn't have the speed that other great wide receivers had. He couldn't take the top off the field. He was drafted in 2013 from the state of California as a 3rd-round pick. Dealt with a couple of injuries earlier on in his career, but once he got started, he became one of the best receivers in the league, 6-time Pro Bowler. And again, like I said, he never had the blazing speed. He wasn't really running away from anyone. But what the unique thing about Keenan Allen is that he had a very, very high IQ, which you could tell he really, really studied the game. I mean, every time they played against a team, the defensive formation that was in, he knew what they were in. He knew how they were trying to attack him, and he will always find where the soft spot in the zone, or will study the corner that he's going up against and find one weakness in his defensive game, and he will exploit it. And maybe Keenan had to be that way, because if Keenan Allen wasn't that way, if he wasn't a guy who studied hard and perfected that part of his game where his knowledge of the defense is that what they were trying to do to him and how they were trying to slow him down, if he didn't perfect his craft with regards to his route running, he would have probably just been maybe an average receiver, because he didn't have that speed like Tyreek Hill or Jamal Chase. But in terms of route running, in my opinion, Keenan Allen is the best route runner in all of football. And that's what separated him from everyone else. You can double team him, he's going to find the soft spot in the zone. He could run as fast as he can, cut, come out of that, and pick up again and break somebody's ankles. Keenan Allen was special. He was really, 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 really that dude. So I guess that's why a lot of people, including myself, was shocked that he was traded. Now, when I found out, it hit me like a gut shot. Like I was really sick for about an hour, just trying to understand, like, damn, what happened? Jim Harbaugh spoke well of Keenan Allen. What happened? I trust this regime. I trust Jim Ortiz. I trust Jim Harbaugh. Why? Their track record says you can. Their track record says you should. So it had me baffled for an hour. And then reports start coming out, but X had exploded. It was so much. I saw people saying things like, I hate you. I'm done with this team. I'm choosing another team. Fuck the Chargers. fuck Ortiz, fuck Harbaugh. And I'm like, wow. I tried to come on and calm some people down, and they were saying, I don't want to hear all this stuff about trust the process and all this other stuff. But look, I was always taught that you can react to something in two ways. You could respond with logic, or you could respond with feelings and emotions. And what I've learned over time is when you respond while you in your feelings and emotions, most of the time it's going to be the wrong response. Why? Because people say things out of anger that you don't mean. Sometimes you can't take back. That could even be in relationships. You can be married. You can just have a friend and you get so heated with each other that you don't give yourself time to calm down. And when cooler heads prevail, then approach that person and have a conversation. But when you are angry and you feel like that person did something to piss you off, being in your feelings and emotions is going to cause you to want to hurt that person to make them feel what you feel. So the words like fuck you, I hate you, you're dead to me. Here's why that's disappointing. And again, I always said you have a right to how you feel. You have a right to your opinion. But just understand me, though. Sometimes you can't take things back. And after an hour was up, when that numbness went away from me, when I was over my emotions, I was out of my feelings, then I was able to come on to X and say, hey, look, it's just business. And really it is. It's just business. Football, we love it. It's a sport. We love our team. We are married to our team. We love our team. But it's also a business. And we know that Keenan, and I believe he deserved the money, the $23 million that he was due this year. He deserved that. He bust his tail. He deserved that. But the business side, in every sport and on every team, because the Chargers are not the only one that's releasing really good players or cutting good players or restructuring good players or asking people to take a pay cut. Tom Brady took pay cut plenty of times in his career. Tom Brady took pay cuts on a number of occasions in his career so that the team can win. Pat Mahomes recently restructured his contract to free up $23 million so that they can pay the defensive tackle, Chris Jones. Now, I'm not saying that Keenan Allen was wrong. He was perfectly within his right to say, no, I'm not doing it. Now, some going to frown upon it and say he's selfish. He's not a team player. But technically, he didn't do anything wrong. Keenan Allen did what was best for Keenan Allen. And the Chargers ownership, the general manager and Harbaugh did what was best for them. And you move on. It's a business. We're not always going to like how it turns out. But I'm not going nowhere. I've seen Junior Seau get traded. I've seen Rodney Harrison get traded. I've seen Anthony Miller get traded. I've seen Fred Dean get traded, right? I've seen Vincent Jackson get traded. I've seen when Eric Weddle was traded. I didn't like any of it at all. But at the end of the day, it's a business. It's a business. And if you love your team, it's like being married, like I said, for richer or poor, for better or worse, sickness and health. Really, it is just like that. So a lot of people were saying, well, one of the guys did respond to me and said, well, look, a fourth rounder, they would play him out like that for a fourth rounder. Let me share some knowledge with you. Terrell Owens in his prime was traded from the San Francisco 49ers to the Philadelphia Eagles for a fifth round pick. And that year he went there, he broke his leg early in the season and was out 8-9 weeks. Came back and they lost the Super Bowl. Don McNabb and Philly, they lost the Super Bowl, but Terrell Owens had the best game still to today of any wide receiver in Super Bowl history. I'll give you another one. Randy Moss was in his prime. He was with the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders traded Randy Moss to the New England Patriots for a 4th-round draft pick. 4th-rounder. They also went to the Super Bowl, and they lost. That was that undefeated season. The only game they lost was the Super Bowl. That was to Eli Manning and the Giants. And the last time I checked, Terrell Owens and Randy Moss is in Canton, Ohio. They are Hall of Famers. So if they could be moved in their prime, and it's great, don't get me wrong. Don't turn me off right now because you don't like what I'm saying, because it's the truth. Keenan Allen at his best was not Randy Moss. Keenan Allen at his best was not Terrell Owens. And they're in Canton. They got traded for 4th-rounders and 5th-rounders, respectively. So why is it so shocking that Keenan Allen got traded for a 4th-round pick? Now, we heard later that when they gave him the option to find a trade partner, him and his agent was talking to the Houston Texans and the Jets. And then the Bears called. And the Houston Texans was offering a 3rd-round pick next year, 2025, and a swap with 1st-round picks. The Bears said, I'll give you a 4th-rounder this year, and we'll take on the whole contract. It worked out for Keenan because he gets to save his money because he didn't want to restructure or take a pay cut. It worked out for the Chargers because instead of having to pay some of Keenan's salary to the Texans or the Jets and get a pick for next year, although it being a 3rd, you get a 4th this year, and his salary is off the books. That's smart. That's smart, guys. So I'm going to say it's time to move on. It's time to get out of the feelings that we have. And I don't think all the criticism between Ortiz and Harbaugh is warranted. I really, really don't. I think it's overkill. I really believe it's overkill because they got track records. They got resumes. They won. They won championships. They had winning seasons. They won a lot of playoff games, and they got a hell of a record for drafting players. And Harbaugh have a hell of a track record coaching players that weren't top tier, Pro Bowl caliber, Pro Bowl players. Man know how to coach, and I think he deserves better. So there's a lot of players who were traded in their primes. Khalil Mack was traded from the Raiders in his prime to the Chicago Bears. Tony Gonzalez was traded from the Chiefs to the Atlanta Falcons in his prime. Jerome Bettis was traded in his prime from the Rams to the Steelers. Randy Moss, we already mentioned, he was traded to the Patriots in his prime. Champ Bailey was traded from Washington Redskins at the time to the Denver Broncos, still in his prime. Marshawn Lynch was traded from Buffalo to Seattle in his prime. We know how his career ended. Marshall Faulk was traded in his prime to the Seattle Seahawks. So see, this stuff happens. It doesn't just happen with the Chargers. It don't matter if you're popular. It don't matter how great you were. You know, at the end of the day, we support our teams. We love our teams, but the organizations are not going to do what fans think we should do. You understand? I was a law enforcement officer for 30 years. Whatever you did for your career, if you was a carpenter, you couldn't come and tell me how to be an officer because you didn't do my job. I couldn't come and tell you how to lay carpet or to lay brick because I have no experience. It's not my job. None of us are GMs. None of us are super scouts. None of us are down at the combine and going to college and monitor. Nobody is sitting upstairs in the owner's office or in the GM room and working with contracts and trading people and who release. None of us have no experience in that. So let us stop trying to be the GM. We don't know what's best for the Chargers, but the Chargers do. That's their thing. That's what they do. Now, let me just say this before I end. A 46-year fan, I am so tired of losing. I want to win a championship. I would say I live majority of my life. I'll be 60 years old next Friday, March 22nd. I would say the majority of my adult life, I've already lived. I don't know. One of the mistakes that we make is we always think we have more time. But in actuality, we don't have as much time as we think we have. I don't know how much time I have left, but if there was one thing on my wish list, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to see what it's like being a Charger fan and seeing the confetti come down. This organization win a Super Bowl. I got a lot of friends that are Steelers fans, and Giant fans, 49er fans, Cowboy fans. They seen their team win a Super Bowl. That's one thing on my bucket list. I would love for them to win a Super Bowl. And they say the definition of insanity is keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. That's what we've been doing, recycling young coordinators, trying to lead men and be head coaches and the general managers. We never seem to get it right. I think we got it right this time by hiring two people in Ortiz and Harbaugh that have a track record for just winning and winning a lot and winning championships and building cultures. And I want it. I'm tired of things the way they are. I'm sick of it. I want to win. And if this is the way that you have to do, I don't care what way it got to be done. I just want to win. My desire and passion for winning the Super Bowl far exceed any player that I want to keep and then don't win nothing. Harbaugh is building the culture. What's a culture? I say, in my opinion, a culture is an atmosphere that's created to provide competitive competition, loyalty and trust, unity and love, and holding each and every player accountable for their actions and behaviors. And simply put, just a strong foundation as to how we are going to be doing things moving forward. The Chargers need that in the worst kind of way. Since the merger into the NFL, the Chargers organization had been to 4 AFC title games. Our record is 1-4, which means we went to 1 Super Bowl. And that was in 1995 when we were destroyed, embarrassed by the San Francisco 49ers. And we haven't sniffed it since then. Don't you think it's time that you can't keep doing the same thing that we've been doing for years and years and years and years and years and hiring the same cheap coaches trying to get the job done and having people upstairs that have no idea how to build a culture, how to build a team. We knew that when Harbaugh and Ortiz came in, they're doing exactly what they said they would do. It is time for change. Change is not going to go through easily. It's going to be a little hard. It's going to be tough. People going to feel like their toes are stepped on. People going to get in their feelings. But I want to win, man. Harbaugh wants a team that's tough, physical, fast. I like it. You got rid of Austin Eckler. We got rid of Gerald Everett. We got rid of Eric Kendricks, Mike Williams, Kenneth Murray. You signed Gus Edwards, who's a good running back. Really good running back, hard running back, a big dude, 6'1", 240 pounds, and run hard. We signed Hayden Hurst and Will Dissly. Now, Will Dissly is a very, very good blocking tight end. Hayden Hurst, not so much in terms of blocking, but he got some pass catching skills. I've been doing a lot of researching on them guys. And you got defensive tackle Poona Ford, who I'm impressed by him. I really am. I see him blowing up plays in the backfield, stopping the run, and it's just a tough, mean kind of attitude. And that's what this team needs. So I think we head in the right direction. But I'm gonna say to Charger fans, let's give this organization a chance, man. My God, I remember the day he was hired and he used those terms. We're gonna attack the offseason with the enthusiasm that's not known to mankind. People was eating it up and putting it on t-shirts, and I seen people literally crying tears of joy and jubilee because we have people now that know what they're doing. And as soon as they make a move that you don't like, you go on X and start cursing and fussing and dropping F-bombs and saying you hate them and I hope they die. It's like, look, last thing I'm going to say is this. As a family man, a man that's married 26 years, have 6 children and 3 grandchildren. And I don't want to jump off into politics, but I'm going to speak on this just a little bit. The reason why it don't bother me that much with what they're doing. Look, man, I worked hard all my life, right? I was fortunate enough to be able to get a pension. When I worked a job, the reward in the end, if you can do a full career, that you get a pension and benefits that can help you out. You know, like an old man told me years ago, make sure the young man take care of the old man. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I do now. While you young, make the decisions and put yourself in good jobs if you can. Educate yourself, go to college, get your degrees or whatever field you get in, make sure you get into something that can offer you something in the end. See, we always looking at the now and we don't look down the road. You understand what I'm saying? So to be retired and collect a pension check for the rest of my life, when I pass away, I got something to leave behind to my family. That's what this is about. That's what's important, right? You have politicians, and I'm just going to say politicians. I'm not going to say the right or the left, because at times throughout this world, both parties have been in charge of the House and the Senate, and whatever their party is, you had a president, whether it's Democrat or Republican, you controlled everything. And the rich got richer, the poor continued to get poor. People die every year in this country from homelessness, you know. So nobody, politicians, they have not done their jobs. They have failed the American people. So now you have politicians talking about raising the Social Security age, cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare. These are things we worked for. Why would you cut Social Security? I worked for that. If you have FICA coming out your check, that's Social Security. For you, when you get older and have to retire and you turn 62, that's your money. And they want to cut it now. So those concerns that I have concerns about paying this mortgage every month, keeping food on the table here in my house. My concern is my grandkids growing up in a world right now that's full of hate and full of evil and judge you by your skin color. My father was a retired minister, and he raised us to love God and we all love each other because we all came from God. No matter what your race is, that we all got to live in this world together, and we should all treat each other with respect and love. And we don't do that. That's not the world that we really live in. The only thing, unfortunately, that brings us together, and this is real talk, is sports. We get together and holler, whether you black and white, and having fun and hugging each other at a football game because we wear the same jersey. But when it's over, we go back to being who we are again. Being divided. And you worried about Keenan Allen getting traded for a 4th-round pick? That's what you're mad at? Don't get mad at that. Go get a job, a good job with benefits. Take care of your family. Raise your children. Treat your spouse right. be able to vote the right people in that's trying to take away what you worked for that's supposed to be there when you're done. That's what you get angry about. Don't get angry about this. Keenan Allen, all these players, they don't have our problems. They have homes. They have millions of dollars in the bank. We don't have that. And they don't know who we are. They love your support. They love you to buy the jerseys. They love to pay them thousands of dollars to get those tickets and to come out and cheer for them. We're the ones who put those millions of dollars in their pocket. And I'm not saying that he's wrong for refusing to take a pay cut. He's not wrong. That was his choice. He made his choice. The team made their choice. They moved on. But to get up in arms and dropping hate words and divisive words and I'm done. You can be done fine. You don't want to be a Charger fan. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. That's fine. But that anger, take that anger and channel that anger into taking care of the things that matter to you in your environment, in your home, in your community, that's going to make life better for you, your family, and your children, and your future. That's what you get angry at. Not at this. You get angry at the wrong thing. I hope none of y'all turned me off, but somebody had to say it. Somebody had to say it. At the end of the day, I'm going to still love my Chargers. I'm going to still root hard for my Chargers. I don't give a damn if Mickey Mouse is my starting linebacker. I'm going to root hard for Mickey Mouse. But at the end of the day, in reality, I got to survive. And when you can't survive, and when you're struggling, Keenan Allen or no Charger or no other player for no other team is going to come and pay your bills for you. They're not going to come and sit down and talk to you when you're stressed out. That's what you depend on, your family and people in your community. So y'all stop getting this stuff so twisted. I stopped coming on for a while. I haven't been on here in quite a while because sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. And that was disappointing to me because I try to come on and just be truthful and honest. And we live in a world now where we can't be truthful and honest no more, or people don't want to hear it and they'll tune you out. But I was talking to somebody yesterday and they told me, do your podcast. You have to accept and embrace people that going to love you and love what you do and support what you do. And you also going to have to accept and embrace that people are going to criticize what you do. And they're going to like throw slander your way because they don't like what you're doing. But if you know in your heart that you're doing the right thing and you educating people and you telling people the truth in your heart, you can lay down at night and rest well and don't have it bother you because you know you're doing the right thing. So I had to come on and say that. And look, I got nothing but love for you Charger fans. I hope none of you guys don't unfollow me. I hope you guys don't start spitting no venom on X. I hope you really, really can understand where I'm coming from, because I'm really, really trying to use the experience and the knowledge that I've acquired over my 59 years on this earth to try to help you, especially the younger generation, to teach you how to manage your feelings and your anger, because the way we did it these past few days is just wrong. And putting things in its proper perspective, it's a team. It's a sport. But there are more things in your life that's important than that team and that sport. I'm thankful to God that I've put myself in a position where I've kept the roof over my head and my family's head, and we can eat. Nobody goes to bed without a full belly. We have air in the summertime and heat in the wintertime. I'm thankful for that. But I bust my tail to make that happen. I ain't got time to sit down and worry and stress about things I have no control of or that don't directly affect me. But I just told you some things that directly affect you. I'm going to end this, but I'm going to say to everybody, thank you for the ones that stayed and listened. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget these 3 words, Chargers Talk 4630. Make sure you go on, like it, thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe so that way you'll never miss out on any content, whether it be something we upload that's pre-recorded or something that we just go on live. We hope that you like what we're doing, and we hope that you like that we are spitting truth. And the one thing that we all have in common, that we connect, that bonds all of us together, we are Charger fans, and we all just want to win. Everybody got their feelings about certain things, but I know deep down inside, you just want to win a Super Bowl. And that's what keeps us connected. So peace and love to you guys. Hope you guys have a great Sunday, and I'll see you guys soon. Give me a like. Let me know if you like the video. Let me know if you learned something from this podcast. And I like interacting with people, but in the famous words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, go, Chargers, go. See you later.